What is up everyone, my name is Captain Giorgio and today I wanted to show you all something special. Well, I wanted to show you all a tutorial on what is Adobe Camera Raw, but you know what, lately I've had a change of heart. You see, I've noticed a couple of things in regards to the creative space. I've been noticing a lot of people having a hard time getting started in their creative career, and that's not to say that getting access to Adobe, it's sometimes not the easiest. You need the tools to get started, but you also have not that much funding to get started, and people are going to the extent of risking themselves into getting a virus, even getting in trouble with the law by cracking software down to learn the tools because this product is an industry standard, right? And recently I was just thinking about perhaps changing the direction of my creative journey. So recently I left my old job, and ever since then I realized, holy cow, Adobe's kind of pricey. What can I do in terms of alternatives, because paying this much a month just by myself, it's going to be a lot of money accumulated over the year, and I just don't understand how people are able to pay this month to month. I was pretty much lucky enough to start in a school environment, so they were able to help me out, and then I was able to hop into a job where they were able to pay for my subscription, so it wasn't really a thing. I started off in Adobe CS6, so like I said, back in school, when my teachers had downloaded the software, it was there, and all updates came with it. But then once I was starting college, they did the whole subscription model with the Adobe going to cloud thing. Luckily I was in school, so I was able to get a student pass for the Adobe cloud, so I was able to learn all the software that I needed. I was able to experiment and pretty much put myself in a position where now I consider myself knowledgeable in the Adobe space. But now that I'm out of this position and I pretty much am out here in the wild, where else could I go? And the whole pursuit of people saying, oh, you have to learn Adobe because it's the industry standard, right? And because it's a professional toolkit. But in terms of functionality and what it can do, there's other software out there that pretty much does the same thing. So if you're excited to know what those software is, just hit that like button. So starting off with my 3D stuff, I was practicing in Maya a lot. I was using that as my main for 3D. A little software out there you might have heard of called Blender. If not, it's a 3D tool that you can use to pretty much do a lot now these days. So it ranges from 3D, 2D animation. Even now, tools that were used by 2D designers are now implemented into a 3D software for free. The next one was video editing and motion graphics, and that was the most painful for me because that was one of the first tools that I started using was Adobe Premiere, and mixing it with After Effects. Those two are very powerful softwares. I was just thinking to myself oh man, there's nothing that can replace these two, right? Wrong. DaVinci Resolve 16. Yes, that's sophisticated software by Blackmagic. It's being used for free. They have the free version and they have the paid version. That's pretty much the software that's going to be used to edit this video. As you will see, this video is currently being edited on a DaVinci timeline. And then last but not least are my InDesign and my illustrations and my Photoshoppers. Where am I going to replace those? We got the Affinities. We got the Affinity Pro Designer, Affinity Photo, and the Affinity Publisher, which are all pretty much replacements, which is what I'm going to be using to replace those tools. But I didn't really deal a lot with InDesign, so I'm going to stick with the Photoshoppers and the illustrators. So yeah, after dealing with the Adobe software for 8 years and now being able to transition my workflow, yeah, I recommend it. At the end of the day, when you have a finishing product, they're not gonna judge you by what you use to make it. They're gonna judge you by the turnout. You know, the final output is what's going to be judged. It's not going to, like, anyone can get there. It's just a matter of what you use to get there. Now, of course, you know, there's gonna be a lot of people coming at me like, you don't know the difference between a professional and like a noob. But it's like, we're trying to get our vision out there, right? And if these tools are what's gonna make it easier for your thought process to go through, does it really matter what tool you use at the end of the day? As long as it's easy for you to use the tools, to navigate through the menus, and as long as it's easy for your team to cooperate within that workflow, then you're good. That to me sounds like the professional workflow, like the professional standard. It shouldn't be dictated by software at the end of the day. That's just my opinion. So yeah, just think about this, right? Just think about your favorite song. Just play your favorite song on your head. Right, sounds good and everything, right? Are you thinking about, gee, what software did they use to make it? They use FL Studios, Absence, what else other do you use? Like, at the end of the day, we're all just appreciating art, right? No matter what tools they were used to make it, you know, at the end of the day, it's the final output. That's what I'm trying to say. This is the price for the Adobe subscription per year, and this is the price that you're gonna have to pay if you want to get the software I mentioned earlier for the year. You decide. If you're just, you know, if you want to save some money down the line, if you're A, starting out, or B, looking for alternative software to the Adobe chain, right, and you want to break loose out of it, consider the following software I just mentioned below. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like an Adobe instructor to you guys and just show you my workflow, my tips and tricks on how I get things done with using the Adobe platform. But because I'm changing now, I think it's pretty much what I wanted to tell you all is that this is going to change the future of this channel. I want to help you help yourself to get familiarized with these tools, so then that way you can start off or get going with your creative career. But yeah, you know, I get it. You know, these days you go to LinkedIn, you look for jobs, you know, everyone's looking for oh, do you know how to use Adobe? Oh, do you know how to use Photoshop? I mean, yeah, eventually at some point you might have to end up learning these tools, which is why, like, you know, if you go to school, great on you, because then you pretty much, hopefully your university is able to, you know, get you that pass for the Adobe suite. And if not, you can probably get a discount. That's also highly likely as well. And if you're able to somehow manage, I'm not trying to put any ideas out there, but you know, if you somehow manage to get the software as well, you know, then you can immerse yourself that way as well. There's plenty of tutorial videos on YouTube. If you jump the gun and you find out that you don't like it, you know, you haven't lost anything. If anything, you've lost a little bit of time, but that little time you used to immerse yourself into something new. Or hey, if you're starting out and you start out with these platforms, you know, like the Affinity software, whenever you have to jump into Adobe, you kind of already know the fundamentals. So it's a win-win if you're coming from Adobe to the free software stuff, or vice versa. You know, it's pretty much the same thing, same fundamentals. What changes are probably like the buttons. That's it. But yeah, this was pretty much my public announcement, my PA, and just letting you all know that I hope you have a wonderful day. So again, if you like this rant, you already know what to do. That means like, don't forget to sub. Oh, and please be safe out there. I hope you're being safe out there with your social distancings and your self quarantines. We got this. Stay strong. I think that's the end of this vid. Forgot something. Oh yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.